You're listening to the Life Coaching Secrets Podcast, episode number 61. Did you know that life coaches are needed now more than ever? I'm Frank Macri, founder of Thriving Coach Academy. I've trained over 1,000 coaches and helped them launch their own successful coaching businesses. If you want to make an incredible income and impact as a coach and have a lot of fun doing it, I'll show you exactly how to get it done. This is Life Coaching Secrets. What's up, coaches? It is so good to be back recording here on the podcast again. I have taken a few weeks off from recording very intentionally. I've had many things happen in my personal life, all really good things that I'm excited to share with you at some point. And now I am back. I have so many episodes that I have been wanting to share with you all. I think you're going to love this next batch of episodes that we have coming up. And if you've been a loyal listener so far, then hopefully you've been able to take these past few weeks getting yourself caught up. In fact, we just had a lovely new group of coaches begin their coach training. And one of those coaches, Jennifer, she called me out during her first module and she said, "Frank, I've listened to every single podcast episode and it's time for you to start posting more." So I took that invitation and I have a really juicy episode today that I have been looking forward to sharing with you. And it is on the biggest limiting belief that people have. The most common limiting belief that people have that holds them back from living the life of their dreams. It is the belief that success requires hard work. Have you ever heard that growing up? Or have you ever thought that you need to work really hard in order to be successful? Chances are, if you are a human being on the planet, you have heard that idea. And maybe you believe that. Maybe you think that it does require hard work to be successful. Or you may have heard variations of this thought, such as the idea that if you become more successful, it's going to come with sacrifice. You need to sell your soul in order to be really successful. Or maybe you've heard the idea, with great power comes great responsibility. Now, this episode is going to challenge you, and I want you to allow that to happen because it's so important that you question this idea if you want to create the life of your dreams, and if you want to help your clients create the life of their dreams. Now, in order for us to begin examining the thought that you need to work hard to be successful, we first need to understand that all that sentence is a thought. A thought is just a sentence that zips through our brain. And why people often get stuck in life is they don't pause and say, wait a second, is that necessarily true? One of my favorite coaching questions is, how true is that? How true is that? Those are 4 words that you must know and ask your clients very often when you're coaching them. How true is that? How true is that? That you need to work really hard to be successful. Who says that you need to work really hard to be successful? What if it were not true? Is it really a requirement for every single human that you need to work hard in order to be successful? So we're going to poke at that thought in this episode. A lot of times in the academy, when we're training our coaches, they know that I will often use the expression poking a thought. Like, we're just going to look at the thought and we're going to poke at it gently. We're going to keep poking at it and we're going to see if we can knock it down or pop it. We're going to poke at this thought in this episode. So firstly, I want to talk about why this thought that you need to work hard to be successful is so limiting. One of the reasons I think this thought is limiting and also dangerous is because if you believe you need to work hard to be successful, then the way you're going to approach life is you're going to work harder and harder and harder until inevitably you burn out. Okay, so burning out is a really terrible experience that a lot of people go through in life, where they become so spread thin and they become so exhausted and they eventually burn out. And I think a big reason why people burn out is because they are letting this idea, you need to work hard to be successful, narrate their life. They are just giving life to that idea. Of course, when you believe you need to work hard to be successful, you are going to spread yourself thin and burn out. Another reason why it's so damaging to believe that you need to work hard to be successful is because it comes with the idea like success is going to be scary. It scares people from having success if they assume that it requires hard work, because you start to think, well, maybe I won't be able to handle that. Or maybe you think, well, I'm already working so hard as it is, and I can't imagine having to work harder. I just don't think I could sustain a lifestyle like that. So this is why that belief is so limiting for people. A lot of people trap themselves into thinking that they should be or need to be working harder. And as a result of believing that, they don't consider any other path to success in their life that doesn't require them to work hard. The only paths that they look at are ones that require them to work hard because their brains are not seeing other paths. And what I want to introduce you to in this episode is that there are other paths to success. There are paths to success that are sustainable and that don't require you burn out or exhaust yourself. And that can actually allow you to have success and enjoy it without working as hard as the way you're working right now. So here's how I first realized that you don't need to work hard to be successful, because I used to believe that thought for many, many years. And I would approach my life thinking that I needed to work harder and harder and harder. And I remember early on in my career, I would have to wake up really early to get to certain jobs. I would have to commute, and I would do work that was so exhausting. And I would work harder and harder and harder, yet I was getting paid so very little. And then one day I was reading the Tim Ferriss book called The 4-Hour Workweek. And I remember reading this one sentence he had in the book, and it was, work smarter, not harder. Probably you've heard that idea before of working smarter and not harder. And it completely paused me in my tracks. And it opened me up to start thinking about my life and my goals and my success very differently. And when I started to think, how can I work smarter instead of working harder, I began to see opportunities that I wasn't seeing before. And one of those opportunities, of course, was to start my own business and to become my own boss, to decide my own schedule, and to do work where there was unlimited income and it didn't require more of my time in order to make more money. I realized that I could be making more money while not using as much of my time. So at this point in my business right now, my life still requires that I put in work, but I wouldn't say it's hard work. I put in effort in my life. I work about 3.5 days a week. Usually my schedule, I do most of my work on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and usually a half day on Monday, and I'll take Friday off. And it's all because I want to work. And I am eager to get to work and create things and show up and train our coaches. And sometimes I'll even put in a little bit more work because I want to do that, not because I believe that I need to work harder and I need to put in more hours in order to have successful. I would say now I actually work less and I make a lot more than when I started my career. I work less and I am much more successful. Okay? So sometimes when you work very hard, you can actually repel success when you work hard. So I want you to consider from this episode that you can have success and it doesn't have to require you work as hard. Isn't that very light when you try on that thought? You don't have to work as hard to have more success. In fact, your life right now is probably harder than what your life's going to look like when you have more success. Consider that. What if your life right now is harder than what it's going to look like when you have the success you want to have? So let's look at the term hard work for a moment, right? Because when you think of work as hard, it presumes that work must be hard. And I distinguish work from effort. There's a difference between hard work and effort, okay? Anything in life is going to require effort. Any type of success that you achieve or pursue will require effort from you. So you might as well put effort into getting the results you want and creating the life that you want, right? Right now, you are putting effort into maintaining your current life, just like you will put effort into creating a new life whenever you have a goal that you want to pursue, right? So you're going to need effort in your life no matter what. You might as well put that effort towards something that will create the life you want. So if you decide that success is hard, it's going to be hard. However, if you decide that success is fun, then success will be fun. You will enjoy the journey. If you decide that success can be simple, guess what's going to happen? You are going to simplify your success. So the most important takeaway I want you all to take from this episode is that you get to choose how you want to experience success. You get to choose how you want to create your own success. There is no one way that someone experiences and has success. So here's a way to examine if there's a part of you that perhaps believes you need to work hard to be successful or likes the idea of working hard. Would you consider yourself a hard worker? If someone were to tell you that you were a hard worker, would you feel good about that? Would you take that as a compliment? Or do you aspire to be a harder worker? Now I ask you, why? Why do you aspire to see yourself as a hard worker? It's probably because there's a part of you that thinks that hard work is a good thing, that hard work leads to success. Now, I do not see myself as a hard worker, and I don't aspire to be a hard worker because I don't believe that you need to work hard in order to be successful. And I don't believe that work needs to be hard, ever. Right? It's kind of like when people pride themselves on being very busy, right? They're like, oh, I'm just so busy. And they love telling people how busy they are. Adults love to do this. And if you do this right now, it's not your fault, because a lot of us are conditioned from corporate culture, corporate 9-to-5 world, to pride ourselves on being very busy and working very hard, right? I don't want to be seen as busy. I want to be productive. And if you want to know more about busy versus productive, I have a podcast episode called Busy is Bullshit. So go listen to that if you feel like you're enjoying this episode and you want to build off of it. Now, I know that sometimes people can point a finger at capitalism and say, well, we need to work hard to make money because it's just the structure of our world that we're in, this capitalistic world that we're in right now, that we're a part of. What I say to that is capitalism is just giving you the playground where you can make as much money as you want doing whatever it is you want to do. Capitalism is just giving you the playground. I think the reason why there are so many people that are eager to work harder and be busier is because of this 9-to-5 corporate mentality, right? The 9-to-5 is not the only way that you can be successful and make money. It is not the only way that you can play in the capitalism playground or the capitalism sandbox. So, and I say that because I don't want you to think that you're stuck in this system where you need to work hard to be successful, where this is just the life that you need to settle with and deal with, okay? You don't need to work hard to be successful. Like, capitalism is not forcing you to do that. It's a playground where you can become successful in so many different ways. When I decided to pursue coaching and build up my own coaching business, before I was training coaches, I would do a handful of workshops a year. I'd invite some people to come to my workshops. I would charge high-ticket coaching programs at those workshops, and I would make 6 figures year after year. Okay, I was charging, for people that hired me one-on-one, I was charging upwards $500, $600 per hour of coaching with me. Okay, so I was working not nearly as hard as I was before, but I was having way more success. So I want you to try on the idea that money can flow easily to you. What if money can flow easily to you? One of the thoughts that I love to have is money flows to me easily. If that were true, then what would you do? Or what would you consider? What would you explore? What opportunities might you approach? So one of the concepts that we teach our coaches about in the academy is it's a mindset on success that's called be, do, have. Okay, so there's 3 parts of be, do, have. There's the being and the doing and the having. Being is, how are you showing up? What are the beliefs that you are having about yourself and your life? Then there's the doing, which are the actions you take and the decisions you make. And then there's the having, which is what you end up with, the results in your life. Now, a lot of people approach life from the orientation of do, have, be. In other words, many people approach their life and their success thinking that the more I do, the more I'll have, and then the happier I'll be. Okay? This is another way of saying the harder I work, the more successful I will become. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? And if so, how true is it? How true is it? Okay? If you're someone who loves crossing things off your to-do list and adding things to your to-do list, right? Then you probably have a part of you that believes that you need to do more in order to be successful. Okay? So a lot of people who approach life this way, they define themselves by what they do. So they're very driven people, but they end up being really exhausted and busy and tired. Because the problem with this approach to life is the more you do, the more there is still to do. Your brain just keeps finding more and more things to do. And then the more you have, the more you realize how much more there is still to have. But the more you have, the more there is to lose, so the harder you work. So this is why a lot of people get caught up in this rat race. The busier they are, the more successful they become, but they still end up feeling very empty and unfulfilled. Okay? So another way of approaching your life is from the lens of be, do, have. So here's what that looks like. First, you start with the being. So who do I need to be in order to accomplish the goals I have in my life? What kind of person do I need to be? What do I need to believe? What do I want to consider or try on? And if you're struggling with this, I'm going to give you some thoughts that you can try on. One thought is you can work less and make more. Right? Really, what if you tried that on and believed it? You can work less and make more. Or the thought I shared earlier, money flows easily to you. Money can flow easily to you. Or simply the thought, success can be fun. Success can be simple. Now, when you try on those thoughts, what would you do? What would you stop doing? What opportunities would you pursue? What kind of decisions would you consider and make? Then finally, when you do those things, the have takes care of itself. The have just takes care of itself when you show up to life coming from the being. Be, do, have instead of have, do, be. That is a game changer when you start really embodying that concept in your life because it breaks you out of the idea that doing more is always the answer. There are so many people out there that are working so hard and they are not having the success they want. They're not so successful. I know many people, and I'm sure you do too, who work tirelessly and yet they're not truly successful in their lives. They're struggling. Sometimes they're living paycheck to paycheck. They're not getting by. And if this is you, then I want you to know it's not your fault, right? It just is not the only option because working hard is not the answer. And again, this has been so deeply hammered into many people from the 9-to-5 corporate culture. And the simple thing is, it's just people haven't considered any other way of approaching life. So they just think, well, I'm working so hard as it is, I can't imagine having to work any harder. So I'm just going to stay where I am. And this is not true. Another example of why you really don't need to work as hard to have more success in your life. This is an example that has to do with fitness. So I hired a personal trainer. And this trainer has been working with me a couple times a week. I go to the gym and he tells me exactly what workouts to do, what weights to lift. In fact, he'll even set up the machine. He'll set up the bench. He'll put on the weights. And I don't work nearly as hard, and yet I'm getting better results at the gym. It still requires effort. Okay, there's still effort required when it comes to lifting weights. Okay, when it comes to going through all the workouts. But what's different is I know exactly what workouts to do, and I know when I'm going to do them, and I'm able to do them more efficiently. So I'm actually working smarter instead of harder when it comes to my fitness goals, and my results are better than if I were to just do it on my own and work harder and harder and harder. When I don't have the trainer, I work harder because I'm on my own. I think that's another big part of people's limitation around success is they think that Part of becoming so successful and working harder means you have to work harder by yourself. But one of the things I know to be true is that you have a big mission in life, then you're going to need big support. Whether it comes to your health or your business, your relationships, if you have a big mission, if you have a big goal, you're going to require big support. So instead of thinking that working harder is the answer, what I want to leave you with is asking yourself the question, where can I get support? What if I don't need to work harder? What if this can be simple? Where can I get support? So if you have a goal to become successful as a coach, we will support you in the academy from start to finish and beyond. We will support you. And I invite you to book a call with our team. Get on the phone with an admissions member of our team and let's talk about your goals. Let's talk about how to make your success 10 times easier so that way you're not needing to work as hard in your goals as a coach. I can't even tell you how many times when I get on the phone with prospective students and I say, so what have you been doing so far with your business? And some of them say, oh my God, I've been working so hard, but I'm not getting any results. I'm not finding any clients. And then they get into the academy and they realize how simple it could be because they realize they don't need to work as hard. Success requires support. One of my favorite quotes is, success requires support. Failure we can do alone. Success requires support. Failure we can do alone. All right, that's what I got in this episode on success and hard work. And before I finish this episode, I'm going to include a little clip at the end here of some of the comments that our coaches shared at the end of their Module 1 weekend. We had a new group of coaches go through the beginning portion of the training. And here are some of the things they had to say at the end of that weekend. Enjoy.
So when I was searching coaching, I did what Frank told us not to do, which was over-research. And then I quizzed him like nobody's business on our admissions call. And my one criteria was that it was a diverse group. And it was so nice to be validated when I got in. And I feel very affirmed in saying yes to Frank and doing what I've always wanted to do. So thank you so much, and I appreciate you.
I'm just really grateful for you all. I didn't realize that I would receive so much value because I've always been the one to lead or take care of. I've always been the responsible one. And for once, like somebody was helping me.
I just want to thank everybody for listening. I'm enjoying all of it, and I'm going to embrace it all. I thank everyone else for allowing me to be a part of their coaching.
I'm really grateful from the bottom of my heart for this experience. It has been really eye-opening. Just seeing the level of vulnerability has really kind of unlocked something in me more deeply. I just find it really inspiring, and I'm grateful to have shared this weekend with you all, so thank you.
Any sort of tiny little bit of hesitation about doing this before, is completely out the door for me. This felt so right and so just perfect. The feeling, the camaraderie, it was just wonderful. I just loved every second of this.
Getting in this group, all the weight was lifted when I was able to see your faces and spend time with you and see that everyone else is also is on the same journey. I'm just very happy to be a part of it with everyone, and I'm very thankful that we've all found each other.
You all are not alone on this journey. Our whole team wants you to win in this work. We want you to succeed beyond your wildest imagination as a coach. Bye, everybody. Take care. Congrats.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, would you like access to powerful coaching tools you can use on yourself and clients right away? For being a listener of the podcast, I'm giving you a VIP guest pass to get a sneak peek into my coach training program. Inside, you'll learn our coaches' secret tool they use to transform their clients' lives. And you'll also get a training on how to launch a coaching business. Just head over to www.thrivingcoachacademy.com/VIP to get started. I'll see you on the inside.